All right, let me know. All right, let me know. Okay, now we're good. I don't know why. Yeah, that was annoying. At first the I don't know. It wasn't letting me like the camera wasn't on, so I had to go back out, then go back in, and then the audio wasn't working. So like that was annoying. Okay, well that was definitely an annoying ass start. Okay, thank you, Susan. Thank you, everyone. So that was annoying. Okay, let's delete that. Anyway, it's not. Now I'm good. Now everyone can hear me. All right, so now we're good. All right. Anyway, like I said, Logan versus Logan, Wonderful and the Beautiful. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even have a title for General Hospital. Obviously, I watched it. What's good, Danny R? Obviously, I watched it. Um, I am so glad that this whole Lulu and Maxi thing is starting to get resolved because it's just honestly, to tell you the truth, I felt like I was just saying the same thing over and over again. Like I literally watched like 5 days. I was just saying the same shit over and over again. So that was that was pretty annoying. What's good, Ron? How you doing tonight? I'm doing good, Danny. How you doing? 1 second, Ron. And I guess we don't come in and say hi anymore. Just straight to the 20 questions. Yeah, I saw the promo. I saw the promo. I just watched it before I came in. Oh, today. Oh, wow. Happy birthday, Sean. Okay, that's what's up. Everyone, let's wish Sean a happy birthday. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Black Mon. I'm doing good. I had a nap. Um, I'm not gonna lie, kind of wish I stayed asleep. It was just a long day, but I figured I'd get on here for a little bit and chop it up with everyone. So everything is good. Yeah. Yeah. No. Thank you for coming through, Sean. Yeah. No. I know, Donnie. I mean, I saw. I went on your channel today. I made a comment also. I don't know what's going on with your channel. It's like you'll get a channel like every few months or whatever. So anyway, I hope it lasts. I'll sit there and say that much. I hope it lasts. Yeah, yeah. You got 20. You got 20. You got 24 views. So you got 24 views on there. EJ needs to have Rafe lose his badge, bro. EJ broke so many goddamn laws. Like last thing anyone needs to be worried about is Rafe losing his badge, bro. Like, no, Ron. I think that's no offense. I think that's kind of the wrong focal point. I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Queen of South. How you doing? It's good to see you as well. I hope you had a great day. Where's my music at? Mm, not exactly what I wanted, but Yeah, I don't know what was going on earlier, Cherry. At one point, I started the live, and like my camera wasn't working, so people couldn't see me. And then I turned the room again, and then people couldn't hear me. So like, I don't know what was going on with StreamYard. I don't get too many problems though, so it was kind of annoying. Um, yeah, of course, Quinn, of course. So yeah, like I said, and I know right now I mostly have general hospital people, but we are open to snip. They're talking about all five of the soap operas since, well, I've watched all five of the soap operas. Um, like I said, I'm glad that that is over. That whole Maxi. I honestly tell you, the truth, I felt like they made that stuff specifically to give them a bit of drama. You know, specifically to give um those two some drama. And listen, everyone had their opinions about it. Um, some people felt like Lulu crossed the line. Some people felt like it broke girl code or whatever people wanted to sit there and call it. I personally was on the other side. I felt like Maxie was being self-centered. I felt like you know what I'm saying? Like I also was just like I also felt like, girl, you made your choice. You know? You don't get to have lingering romantic feelings for somebody else while you're with that person. Yeah, well, and that's the thing, Sean. I said this before, and I stand by that. I feel like that is mostly, and not saying all women, not that they're saying all American women, but most American women, that tends to happen to. You go to any foreign country, you ask a woman, you know, you tell a foreign woman about you having divided feelings for the man that you're with and your ex, they're gonna look at you like you're nuts. They're gonna look at you like you're absolutely nuts. You don't go out with one person and be like, oh, I still have romantic. Like, no, because any man worth their salt is not gonna sit there and stand for that. And what'd you say, Ron? I agree that EJ broke the law many times, but Rafe needs to get over himself. He is not squeaky clean. That's why he is no longer commissioner. I feel like it's a little more complex than that. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I feel like there was a lot of bias. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to sit there and say. I feel like there was a lot of bias with Paulina. I felt like when Paulina literally sat there and said, "What's good, Queen? What's good? What's good, Danny Bay 7?" Exactly, Sean. Seriously, can you imagine? Can you imagine somebody going out with you, but they still have like lingering romantic feelings for their ex? Like seriously, would you even stand for that? Um, when Paulina did sit there and say that she wanted a woman of color as far as being a commissioner. Um, so yeah, that's just to answer your question. Oh, it's the first time that you watched. I'm doing good, Danny Bear. It's Sean's birthday today. So the way that Sam did with Drew when she chose Jason, exactly, exactly. You chose Drew. You knew that Jason was back, and you still chose to sit there and be with Drew, but yet you still have romantic feelings for somebody else. And then they'll say things like, "Oh, it was complicated." No, it wasn't complicated. You're a grown ass woman. You're too old to be sitting there playing high school bullshit games. I just said the first time I rewatched Days of Our Lives. Oh, I did. That's not what that sentence said the first time, but I'm looking forward to seeing a new actor playing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's good. I don't know. I don't know what to. I don't know what to sit there and say about that. Honestly. Oh, I didn't care about a damn kissing scene, Ron. Yeah, I don't. I don't remember that part. I don't remember that part, Ron. I mean, listen. I know that he has a history with EJ. I know he's very quick to sit there and judge EJ on stuff or assume that EJ did this or whatever without any actual proof. I get that, but I think you're kind of blowing it a little out of proportion. Oh, you just watched it? Okay, Danny. Yeah. I am glad that they did wrap it up. They did wrap up this whole Jeremy Horton thing. Honestly, to tell you the truth, at this point, what I'm looking forward towards days is I'm looking forward to people that assume that he was the one that was behind it to apologize, and I want them to get on their fucking knees and apologize to Jeremy the proper way. Danny says something. I'm really pissed off. I'm really pissed off on Brooke Logan. She needs to understand business is business. Kate and Bill own Eric's eyes. Yeah, exactly. And even their dingbat daughter. Even 1 second, Ron. Even their dingbat daughter was like, "Oh, they can't do that. No one's getting on their knees." No, I'm saying no. You're right, Danny B. I want them to get on their knees. I want them to apologize. I want Jada to sit there and apologize. I want Alex, who was acting like a jackass the entire time, to apologize. Stephanie already apologized. And I'll just tell you the truth, they need to sit there and be apologizing to Julie. And I don't even like Julie, and they need to sit there and be apologizing to Julie. They damn sure need to be apologizing to Julie. Definitely Steve and Kayla need to be sitting there apologizing to Jeremy. Because that's the only way their little sweetness is still 1 second, Ron. Um that's the only reason why their little sweetness is still alive is because of Jeremy. So yeah. Like in my fantasy, they'll be on their fucking knees apologizing, but and apologizing to Julie too. Well, I don't know, Ron. I don't know why you don't like JJ. Why don't you like JJ, Ron? You seem like you have a certain level of animosity, and I'm kind of curious on why. Brooke Ridge and now Eric are getting on my nerves. Eric did those drawings for Logan. No takebacks. Ridge and Brooke only wants Eric back is because he was working for Katie. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like they're saying, "I'm going to ignore my toy," but then when another kid gets on another kid decides they want to start playing with my toy. Oh, now I want to sit there and pay attention. Like, nah, boo boo. And see, that's the thing that with Brooke. Brooke comes across as so damn condescending when she talks to her sister. But she doesn't talk to her sister like she's an equal. She constantly talks down to her. My little sister. My little sister this. So that's why you don't like him, Ron, because you don't feel like he adds anything to the story. Okay. I don't know. I'm curious why you don't like him. That's all. But okay. Um, okay. Now, Sean says, "I'm sick of people in other chats blaming Jason for leaving Danny. Again, the writers are so bad making Jason look weak. I know Steve is on vacation, but come on." My little sister, stop using my name. Exactly. I was like, girl, this is not your. She for somebody. It's almost kind of a sad joke that Brooke, who is in their 60s, like their mid 60s, pushing, going up to 70, is acting like this, like such a damn child, such a child, and diminishes her sister. Oh, that's my name. That's my name. You can't use my name. I was like, girl, do you not understand how retarded you sound that they're telling your sister, who legally has the same name as yours, to be like, you have to stop using my name because that's my name and you're just riding off my coattail. I was like, girl, and that's the thing. She keeps being condescending, but then she wants to sit there and say, "But I love you and I want to support you and this, that, and the third." But then you're constantly knocking her down by simply saying, "Well, starting a fashion house is hard, and it's very difficult, and you don't even have a designer and this, that, and the third." I'm like, it's almost a sense of whiplash in a sense. Thank you, Blackman. Yes, make sure you do hit the like button because it really does actually help. We have 25 people in the chat. Okay, Ron, I'm gonna get to that comment in a second. But yeah, we have 25. We have 23 people in the chat. We have 6 likes. So make sure that you do hit the like button. Yeah, okay, Ron. So you want Sean to get shot because you don't want a couple to be like made. I'm really start sitting there pre-reading what you write before I start reading it out loud. Um, Brooke only cares about Brooke only cares about Ridge and the Forest's overall sister. Yeah, it's condescending and it's so bad. And here's another thing, all right? Because I feel like with Brooke versus Katie, it's mostly black and white. Now, on some level, I do understand Hershman is saying that, you know, listen, it may be both. Like, I feel like it's also the way that she addresses it, because I can see Hershman is saying, like, listen, I'm not Smith is saying that you can't use, I'm not just saying that you can't use, the name Logan because it's technically not mine, but you do realize that the name Logan is synonymous with me. No, Ron, that's not. You know what? Sure, Ron. Yes, whatever you say, Ron. Um, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Ron, and I'm just gonna be real. I think that wanting wanting somebody to get shot because you don't want to sit there and see a couple. It's just kind of dumb and a little overkill. Like I can understand it being like, hey, listen, the name is synonymous with me. I've been doing this fashion thing for a while, and now you want to sit there and essentially use my name. Because I'm not gonna lie, in some ways, it's like, who's okay? But see, that's the thing though, Danny Bear. So Beyonce, what was her sister's name? Remember when Beyonce, like seriously, remember when Beyonce's sister um started singing songs and stuff like that? And to be fair, people only really gave her the time of day as far as like her song being on the radio. What? Solange, thank you. And people only gave her the time of the day because she was Beyonce's sister. That's the truth of the matter. And she did act like a brat in one interview, and it made her look really bad. But like, I can understand. Like, she did technically, you know, rather she tried to use her last name or not, but like people only did pay attention to her because of her sister. And that's the same thing with Ashley Simpson. So on some level, I understand that, but like she came at her sister really nasty, and that's just something that I can't get past. I don't know what made me. It literally came to me like a bolt of lightning. I was like, wait, I have seen that in real life. All right. So the thing with Jason and well, Ron, you've been watching it for a while. Okay, you know that Holly is on medication that is making her jumpy and edgy and constantly fighting with people. Remember that, right, Ron? And Sophia spiked her supplements with actual medication that's really kind of like harming her on a mental level. So that's why, Ron. Um, okay, so Jason leaving, right? And wait, hold on. What did you? Because here's the thing. I also haven't seen. Probably yelling and getting mad about nothing again. Well, yeah, it's absolutely about nothing, because again, it's the stuff that's spiked. Sophia's spiked Holly's face medication. All right, so let me go to address this comment. Well, if I'm going to be honest, I understand why people, on some level, are kind of upset. Like, because in our reality, it does make it like, yes, okay, you can sit there and talk about like how the writers aren't really. It does make Jason look kind of bad because in our reality, it comes across like Jason is picking Brit in her situation over being a parent to Danny, and in a very short sighted way. Like, yeah, obviously we know that Jason is trusting the people in his life to take care of his son while he helps out Brett, right? But I feel like people who are looking at it like that is very short sighted. Um, there's really no way that you can write around that though. Unfortunately, I don't know if they're making Jason look weak. Um, but I don't think it's about making Jason look weak. I think it's about some of the fans being very short sighted. Because if that's what they're saying, then they're not seeing the whole picture. So unfortunately, I feel like that's more of a fan sort of you know if I'm just kind of spitballing. Um, to me, it's like Sam's being a Karen. Hmm? Where did Sam come from? I'm just curious. Where did Sam come from? I mean, I should tell you the truth. The thing is with that medication. The thing is with that medication, it's like, oh, comparing the writing as the characters. Okay. Um, is that it doesn't matter what you say. It could have been about anything. Like it could have been about Ari Smith is saying, "Oh, well, your hair looks a lot darker," or you're doing something different with your hair or whatever. And Holly takes that and takes it to like DEF CON 3 or some shit. Um, so I mean, for me personally, I'm looking forward to this whole Sophia thing just being done. Because here's the thing, I'm so over it. I'm so over Sophia and her animosity towards Johnny and Chanel and her still sick love affair, her sick her weird like I'm still in love with Tate bullshit. Um, and again, unfortunately, I do gotta sit there and bring up DC because DC is still Smith there being like, 1 second, Ron. DC is still like, oh well, I totally understand where she's coming from, and I feel for her, and I'm just like, and the thing is, I don't think that he's probably the only person, but like at this point, I'm like, Sophia, this shit is old. This shit is like months old. Like you're blaming Johnny Chanel for ruining your life. Girl, the only person that ruined your life was you. Okay, you decide to sit there and spread your legs before you're ready to sit there and have a baby, but you're gonna blame everybody else around you. Yeah, what Holly did was effed up, but girl, that was so damn long ago. That was so damn long ago, and you still want to sit there and get back at her. Like this is just fucking stupid. And it's just making me not care. And that's the thing, Danny. Like, I understand the anger, but it's been too long. It's been way too long. I think it was almost like a year, and if not longer. Like this is fucking retarded now. It's like I don't care anymore. Whatever compassion I might have had, that was a long time ago. You know. Ron says, "Do you trust this damn character?" And I mean, I don't know if I trust him because I don't think it's really so much about him. It's Liam by himself. Like Liam isn't Doug. Liam, you know, Doug chose to sit there and be and work with criminals to get money and stuff like that, and he chose to go out there to look for criminals and stuff. Um, with Liam, this was just an opportunity to sit there and get some money to provide for his son. It's not like he knew who he were dealing with. He just thought, okay, this person is a doomsday enthusiast or whatever. Whatever. I'm just charged with, food and this, that, and the third. So it's not so much do I trust him because he's not Doug. He's not Doug the third. Um anyway. So now, of course, now Jordan's pregnant. Right? So now you got Jordan pregnant, you got Portia pregnant, you got Brooke. I mean, you got Brooklyn that's getting way too attached to this child that's not hers. Even today, she was like, "Oh, could I sit there and pick her? Could I sit there and pick her up?" No, no. You ain't that child's mom. Like, no offense. Listen, you did a good thing. You and Chase did a good thing, but like, yeah, she was like, yeah, today, Sean, she was like, "Can I pick up the child?" And Liz is like, no, you can sit next to her. You want to keep her company and stuff like that. Like you can sit next to her. Yeah, Ron. I mean, Sophia's always doing some dumb shit. At this point, like I said, I so don't care. Also, I so don't care about Johnny Chanel. So there's that. But I'm like, girl, you're getting way too attached to this child. Um, everyone's up there saying, yeah, yeah, Jordan. Well, Jordan might be pregnant. So she was at the nail salon, and she felt nauseous, and she ran to the restroom. And when she came back, Portia was like, you're looking kind of green under the gills or whatever. It kind of reminded me when I had my nausea. And she confronted her. She was like, "You're pregnant, aren't you?" And she got kind of upset, right? She got upset. Ron, your guess is as good as mine. Okay, we're both watching the same show. I don't read any spoilers, so your guess is as good as mine, Ron. Um, I don't know. Listen, I'm not a woman, so I feel like with women they have like this sixth sense, knowing when other women are pregnant. Um, like okay, whatever. Um, well, I mean, to be, it's only two. Let's go, Tracy, Steve. Most of the times they only have one. Um, unless there's a pregnancy story that they didn't talk. I mean, that I don't remember. Right now, it's just Portia and maybe Jordan. Um, I mean, my whole thing's like I normally don't care about any pregnancy story. Like I just don't give a shit. My only thing right now is that at least, at the very least, what's good, Dolomedics? How are you doing tonight? Glad you came in a little bit later. It seemed like I was having like technical difficulties and everything earlier. So what's good, Eagle? Or are you glad this day's story with Steph and trying to bring? I am. I am Eagle. I'm happy that I'm happy that they're wrapping up the Jeremy story. The kidnapping story. I'm very, very happy about that. That I will sit there and say. This is another story. But yes, yeah, Eagle. I'm glad they really have nothing for Johnny and Chanel. They're both are going out, and I, here's, okay. So the funny thing is though, Eagle, like I don't care about. Okay, Ron, I don't care about Johnny and Chanel. Okay, I did not care about them from day one, and it hasn't changed. But the sad truth of the matter is, right? As much as I don't like Chanel and her constant um, attitude, Well, see, that's and I mean, to be fair, that's kind of the problem. It's not so much like he just dislikes his dad. For a while, I've been sitting there saying that too. But then, EJ's like, oh well, we got to make sure that Stephanie and Jeremy are never found or whatever. And I'm like, bro, listen, Chanel has been sitting there trying to keep you. What's good, CK? Chanel has been sitting there trying to keep your son away from you because she feels like you're a bad person and everything, right? But then you go out and you prove her right by practically being like, yeah, we got to make sure that we kind of execute these two. So, like, my whole thing is like, as annoying as Chanel is, and she's fucking annoying, as annoying as she is, as annoying as she is, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. What's good, LaShawn? Oh, yeah, no, I want them to get on their hands and knees and apologize. And the sad thing is, Johnny actually wants to give EJ a chance. And for a while, Chanel has been like, no, don't do like she's been very controlling. I think that's what's just been very off putting. Because he wants to sit there and have EJ in his life or at the very least kind of comfort him during a very difficult time. And Chanel's like, I think it's a bad idea, but she's very bossy about it. But she's not fucking wrong, and that's the problem. Is like I don't like Chanel, but like I can't sit there and be like, you know what? Ali leaving wasn't great. I hate to say, but Ali leaving wasn't great for Chanel. Why wasn't why Ali leaving wasn't great for Chanel? I don't know. I mean, just to enjoy good story. Even if they are leaving, even if they are leaving, if they have good story, that'd be cool. And also, and it's also just like because her Johnny Focus storyline have some. I just oh, okay, yeah, I heard that too, LaShawn. And see, and that's another thing. Just going to that though. Most people was good Deluxe, was good Krista, and was good Tracy States. If I didn't say hi to you early, we got the soap opera crap, and Chanel suddenly baby crazy. Also, people don't really surprisingly, some people don't really sit there and watch the spoilers. So, like, while we may know, people in the chat may know that those two are leaving. Be surprised how many people that don't know, you know? And it's kind of weird to sit there and wonder how they don't know, especially since it comes on, you know, like streaming and stuff like that. But you'd be surprised how many older people don't usually do the internet and stuff like that. So surprisingly, there are some people that still don't know that they're leaving because she's annoying, Ron. I have not watched Wynard, didn't Nick? Tormentor come back yet. No. I have to check the previews, but I didn't see Todd. Let's be honest. I didn't see Todd. Yeah, some people on Facebook still have no clue, Billy. Exactly. Yes. Yes, exactly. Not sure, Sean. Has not been confirmed yet. Because I'm a huge Jason fan. I have been trying to defend his parenting skills, but I must admit that he put others before his kids, aka deadbeat. The Wesley family consists of Joe, Joy, and they somehow decide. Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing though, ego. Like on some level, as here's the thing, as long as I've been watching the show, it has always been the Victor Newman show to some extent. Um, it just has. Even with Matt Clark, somehow think about this, Eagle. Matt Clark is mostly like a Nick and Sharon villain, and yet somehow Victor winds up coming in and stealing the show. It's funny, Sean, you were just talking about that too. You're just talking about that. Um, Putting Jack on a yacht in the middle of the ocean with Patty is crazy, and people feel bad. He's losing his company, and that's the thing. Yes, and but that's the thing. You go like Victor is constantly. Well, I don't know, Ron. How would you react if somebody said that they weren't pregnant and then lied to you? I think you get your answer at that point, Ron. You know, that's the thing though, Danny. I haven't even like I haven't went on like Facebook messaging and like hear people actually feel sorry for Victor. Um, oh yeah, it's gonna be bad, Danny. I like the actor that plays Victor, but I can't relate to his character. That can't lose to another character storyline wise. Yeah, it's everyone is always like, when is Victor going to sit there and take an L? Like, when is the Newman's going to actually lose? And like, even a couple of days ago, Victoria knew. Like when Nikki was like, "Oh, Victor kidnapped Jack." Victoria was like, "Oh well, he's not going to hurt Jack." And these are desperate times. I was like, "Wait, Victoria, did you just pretty much just give your dad your blessing on kidnapping another man? Because as long as we get back the family company, that's all that matters." And another thing that's been pissing me off with the Newmans, this whole losing the company story. Victoria and Nikki was like, "Well, it's not about the money or the prestige or anything like that or the power." Are you fucking serious? Y'all only are able to sit there and do the things y'all do because of the money and privilege. Victoria, the only reason why you're able to sit there and have this plan to get Summer on your side is because you have a private fucking jet. Like, are you serious? Domex says when Captain Chandler passed away, the show gave us even pre- pretending the other family mattered. It's mm. Yeah, it sounds like I'm missing really good old days, Domex. I mean, too bad we can't watch it in the member circle because CBS are a bunch of dicks. But um, Even yes, Victor is always doing some dirty tricks to get his way. I mean, that's nothing new, but like, it's the fact that like, well, Nikki isn't okay with it, but his daughter is. Like, his daughter's like, oh well, Daddy's not going to sit there and hurt Jack. I'm just like, are you serious? I don't know. I just, oh, they do. Um, Sean, they do, and you've been there. You know exactly why. Funny though, I mean, it's kind of messed up though. Like when we was watching like the Days of Our Lives stuff, or whatever, we were good. We watched like all 6 parts of Paul Mendes. Um, I think we watched like all 5 parts of Teresa. Um, on Passion. So we were fine with the NBC stuff. I'm always going to be a Soul fan, but those late '90s, early 2000s Soul days were, well, yeah, of course, and exactly, Dom. Actually, that's why I generally like, when we're doing a member circle, we're watching that stuff, um, because it wasn't, it was special, but it was special because like the writings, what I'm saying, like the writers didn't sit and use the same kid gloves that you know you have in today's soaps. The language is a lot different. Sonny used to be a lot wilder with his language and how he spoke to people, particularly women back then. To how he does it now, and I know people could sit there and say, "Well, he's evolved and he's a grandpa now." I was like, no, 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 no. They are writing for this generation, soft ass people. That's the truth. Now, even way back in the day, when Robert was there telling Holly, you need to sit there and get on a treadmill, or when they went shopping, he was like, yeah, she needs to sit there and get something else because she's getting a little, she's packing on a little more, looking a little more weight on or whatever. You couldn't dare say that shit now. You couldn't dare, because the first thing somebody would sit there and say is, "You're fat shaming." Well, yeah, I mean, if you're fucking fat, like, we're not fat shaming, but we're not going to sit there and try to act like you don't got a fucking weight problem either. Like, that's because he didn't pretend Sonny was a good person. Now they have him and the mob in name only. Yeah. Yeah, he really has not been a mobster in a very long time. Very disappointing. CK says they don't know how to write gray characters anymore. CK said Victoria is a daddy's girl through and through. She'll always have Victor's back no matter what he does. Yeah, and it was definitely showing. Danny says the mob stuff should go away. It's nice to see other storylines getting the time. Mm. I respect your opinion. I'll say that much. Um, because I mean, like the Bob. Listen, for me personally, the Bob Guza days is fucking great. Bob Guza days felt like a damn event. Okay, and I'm not saying that the other characters shouldn't get their shine, but um, that's what really kind of drew in a lot of fans was the mob stuff. Um, Because if the mob stuff goes away, then Sunny should just go away. If you're not going to sit there and write it right, the mob stuff is also what kind of stood out from the other songs. You can have the mob stuff in there and write for other characters. Exactly, CK. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to like shit on other people's opinions, but like, um, the thing about all those events is they grounded the stuff in strong acting, complex characters, and depth. Um, this is something else. This is something else that actually bothers me. I feel like people are misremembering things. Okay, and this is no offense, but the way that Danny writes it, she makes it seem like the other characters didn't get their shine. They got their shine. It just came down to popularity and what people remembered most. People remember was good, Spencer. Um, People remembered the mob stuff the most, but it's not something they're saying like that's all they did. I remember the stuff with Taggart and Gia and and um, Nick and Liz and Emily and stuff like that. It wasn't like they just showed the mob stuff and everything else wasn't shown. It just happens to be that was more popular. Exactly, Max. It's just what people remember, and I think that's you know. Spencer says I don't understand Jocelyn's motivation with taking down everybody like Sonny because that means you also want to take down people like Jason as well. Yeah, I mean, yes, that's definitely that's definitely a bit hypocritical. You got a point. The writing was great back in the day in the '90s and early 2000s. Yeah, that's where we tend to sit there and watch a lot of this stuff. But I don't know. I just think that there's just I don't know how to put it, but like I think it's been so long since the mob stuff was actually really popular that people are misremembering it like the other characters didn't get shot. Like, and I know they got shot because we were fucking watching it in the member circle. Like, I remember characters like Gia. I remember characters like Xander. Um, who Xander had his own. Was it front and center, or was it just the most memorable stuff? And again, they had stuff with Liz. They had stuff with Audrey. They had stuff with Bobby. They had stuff with Luke. They had stuff with Laura. They had stuff with Stefan. You know, and those are the people that are outside of like. And yeah, it kind of did. It kind of did. Like you're talking about before I watched. Yeah, that may be true, but I mean, it's still prevalent. Yeah, this isn't GH related, but I was explaining Twitter the other day. Stuff like Marlene's origin possession actually had proper build up and characters grew around it. Yeah, we gotta watch that story. I wanna sit there and watch that story with Marlena. And also, yeah, and that's another thing. You had the whole Patrick Drake and Robin and stuff like that, you know. And you know what? Listen, if they was front burner, it's because it really did draw in the crowd. But I guess my whole thing is like, just because they were front and burner doesn't mean that the other characters didn't exist. Like they still had the stuff with Maxie and Dylan and Lucas and Georgie. So that you know what I'm saying? Like, and that was the thing. You guys have to remember this was at a time period. This is at a time period where there were a lot of soap operas on, right? You had Guiding Light, you had As the World Turns, you had Passions, you know what I'm saying? Like you had a lot of different soap operas. And I felt like the mob stuff also did separate it from a lot of the other shows. Deluxe says, with Jason leaving town, do you think he tell Sonny about what Carly is up to? That's a good question, though, Max, because it's like it would be kind of odd for him not to sit there and tell Sonny, but then he'd be like, maybe Sonny may like fuck it up or whatever somehow. That's very true. That's very true. I'm just not there saying like I know that Danny was like, the mob stuff was front and center, but like there was other characters there, and even if they were front and center, it like Sean said, it did carry the show at a time where there were way more soap operas. Okay, it was way more soap operas back then. You have more soap operas, you have more competition, and you needed something that stood out. So if the mob stuff was working, then hey, you know, I get where she's coming from. I feel like there was a reason why, you know. And that's another thing. This was during a time period where there was no DVR, or at least DVR was not. Um, DVR wasn't so popular. It wasn't so popular, so you had fucking VCRs. You know, this is where soap opera digest, like the magazine, was really important because it did keep you up to date before YouTube. Like seriously, soap opera digest was like before like fucking YouTube. Before there was YouTubers doing this stuff. Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's right, LaShawn. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I still have my last one from I think it was 2009, I think, or 2010. That was like YouTube before YouTube. They would give their opinions. They would give you um Mm-hmm. What's good, Latasha? Soap net, man. Soap net was that channel. Deluxe says, how have we just accepted Nathan as the real Nathan? That's been a topic of discussion for a while. Why you have everyone saying, that's not Nathan, that's not Nathan, that can't be Nathan. He couldn't swing a baseball, so that's not Nathan. I don't know. I guess for me personally, I'm just like, listen, if that's not the real Nathan, then I will. For right now, he's the real Nathan, as far as my opinion is concerned. And did he reveal that he's not the real Nathan? Exactly. Until I hear anything else, until I see anything else, Susan says Nosy and Stella. I just knew she was going to find a pregnancy test at Jordan's. Yeah, because that's what she does. She fucking meddles. She's been doing that shit for a while. Here's the thing, Susan. At least she's not as obnoxious as she was. Stella was when Stella first came on the show. I could not stand that woman. I could not stand that woman. I kind of missed the whole soap message boards. You were surprised more. There were rumors, but not everything got spoiled. That came with time, man. I mean, I never was on any message boards. What's good, Jonathan? I was never on any message boards. So that that's it, they had to, Susan. See, when I first started doing the whole reviews and everything, before I did that, I would go on Facebook, and I remember specifically somebody was like, "They either need to tone her down, or they need to ship her out because people could not deal with her fucking attitude." Okay? And I remember specifically. I remember specifically when she got up in Jordan's face at her job and started going off on her in front of all her coworkers. I was like, "Oh, this chick done lost her fucking mind." It was cool. You basically had people doing vlogs that were kind of like what you're doing now. Yeah, yeah. It was pre YouTube. Yeah, but I mean that's the same. Like I same thing with like Soap Digest. The news came out today that could put days back on NBC. What the fuck? Okay, I'm curious. I mean, part of me just kind of was like, I would have never saw that coming. Yes. Have a good night, Sean. I will sit there and see you tomorrow. Of course. Of course you did. And that's the thing, though. There's always like the toxic fans that mess it up for everybody else. Yes. Have a good night, Sean. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, to Latasha, I couldn't stand Electra and her constant, prissy little attitude. Okay, so those shows are leaving. So when Jonathan, are you simply saying because those shows are leaving that they have time to put it on to put it back on that time slot? Because I'm like, what's to stop them from putting something else on there? Remember when they got rid of One Like Living on My Children, and they did like the Chew and something else. Yeah, but see, you gotta remember, okay, but and granted, it's different networks or whatever. But you remember when One Like Living All My Children got the ads? They put on two shows to replace them, and then those shows went away. But they didn't. Oh well, actually, tell you the truth, never mind. It's a little bit different. NBC is not producing syndicate shows anymore. And you're right. Yeah, it is a little bit different. Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they never mind because they did cancel All My Children Will I Live. It's not like they put. Okay, they're canceling a lot of talk shows right now, but I'm not sure it's going to. Yeah, is that and that's another thing. Just because just because they wiped away that time slot, doesn't mean. I mean, it's an opening. But that's not to sit there and say that they can't put something else on it that's a little bit more cheaper. It's just a window that they have that they could use. Latasha says, "I hope Dylan do tell Electra that Will was going to put her out the house, let her go until he saw her kiss RJ." I'm wondering why Will didn't do it. But honestly, tell you the truth, I'm so fucking annoyed with Ivory. Danny says if NBC cancels the show, they probably already have something else in its replace. Yes. Film Access Beyond the Gates is anomaly. It has better views than the talk, but it also are Procter and Gamble commercials sometimes. That's true. So to fill in airtime, they could put days on the schedule, but in a second run format, meaning it can still air early in the morning. Yeah. Oh, there it is. I was like, where is that? Yeah, I sent it to you. I sent it to you. So whenever you're ready. It took me a second. Um, I mean, it's crazy how Brooke is being so condescending. and she's talking about, oh, starting a fashion house is very difficult and this, that, and the third. I was like, girl, let's be very clear, Brooke. You acting like you're riding on the Forrester's coattail at this point. You know, don't mention that's what used to happen when they canceled soaps in the past. I believe that happened to Love and Before it was canceled. Um, I feel like that's it's. I'm gonna let Jonathan and what's good, Latasha. What's good, Lashanta? Damn, it's been a hot minute. I'm a, because you already know my views. I'm gonna let Jonathan explain himself before I be like a Debbie Downer in a sense. In all reality, I don't even know how I would feel if it came back on Peacock. I mean, if it came back on NBC. I mean, first of all, if in all reality, I probably would just want to. Um, I probably would just want to cancel my Peacock subscription. I would. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's interesting the movies that they put on there. Like I got to sit there and see Meg and Meg 2 because I had Peacock. So like they do have some good extra bonus stuff. So I am happy about that. I don't mean they just getting canceled. I just mean NBC just would say, "Here's an hour just filled in the time yourself." I mean, I guess part of me, like I said, I'm gonna let him explain it. I just feel part of me is just like, if they got rid of the show, right, for whatever reason, maybe the numbers weren't really great. Why would they put it back on? You know what I'm saying? Like, why would they put it back on? Eric's wrong. Katie should use his designs. Yeah. I mean, I understand that he's being an artiste and everything like that, and you don't think that they're ready, but like, hey, listen, you're contracted by them to do a job. You did a job. You were paid for it. You decided to leave. You decided to break your contract, and that's fine. But like, you're not taking those because you did that on our time and not on our dime. No, NBC canceled Law and Order, then bring it back. That's true. I mean, it might be different. I see the idea, but I'm also just like, it's just maybe it's cheaper. I'm saying like then an actual whole soap opera, but okay. Oh no. Yeah, and that's the thing. Jonathan did sit there and say they wouldn't take it off of Peacock; they would still show it on Peacock. I guess my whole thing is like I don't like if they canceled it. It must have been for a reason with numbers. Like why would you put back on a show? Why would you put back on a show that you cancel? Um, you know, I don't know. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just don't see how. I don't see why necessarily they would do that. But I kind of feel like that's more of a like wish upon the stars sort of thing. But I'm gonna let Jonathan explain it.
Right. Hey, Albert. Hey, everyone.
What's good, Jonathan?
Hey, thanks for having me.
What's
All right, so I'm going to explain the situation regarding the shows that are in syndication and how it could possibly lead days back to NBC. Now, so I'll explain a little bit more about how days could possibly come back in a little bit. So first, I'm going to explain a little bit about how the syndication process works. So so as you know, as I mentioned, Access Hollywood is going to be ending, and that's a show, a syndicated show that's produced by NBC Universal, and they also produce a lot of other syndicated shows such as the Steve Wilkos show and Karamo, the Kelly Clarkson show. So all of which are also coming to an end this year. So as you know, the two other talk shows I mentioned, they don't air on the NBC. NBC network or like always on an NBC station. It could be on a CW or my network station. So those talk shows, but NBC does own and produce those shows. So and it's also they also produced they also used to produce Maury and Jerry Springer and a whole bunch of other shows that you probably seen before.
yeah,
So yeah, so NBC Universal, the parent company of NBC, they're going to stop syndicate producing syndicated shows. So which means you're no longer going to see those kind of shows like on your NBC station or on any other station. They're basically pulling away from the syndication business for some reason. I think for possibly cost cutting reasons or whatever reason they'll come up with. But yeah, so that's essentially why Access Hollywood and those other shows, they're coming to an end. Um, well, not so much for Kelly Clarkson show. She actually decided to end her show ahead of time. Um, but um, but yeah, NBC is getting out of the syndication business. So so because that's happening, that's going to leave for many NBC stations, that's going to leave a lot of open time slots because there's also the daily show. They have access daily and a couple of so that's and because also Kelly Clarkson show's ending, that's going to leave open time slots for NBC. Now it wouldn't be as simple for them to put in another show to fill them because like I said, like they're getting out of the syndication business. So whatever shows they would try to look for, they would have to they would have to pay another company to a show that's produced by another company. They would have to try to make deals for with them to put in other shows, and that usually tends to be a lot tougher. I mean, it can be done, but it's not as easy as getting shows that they produced it for syndication on their own. So the reason why so that's basically why it could open the door for days return to NBC like other people like websites have speculated that possibility. But here's the thing. It wouldn't have to change the way we see it now. Here's what I mean. Like we see it like it's on Peacock now, and we can basically watch it as early as 6 a.m. That necessarily wouldn't have to change if it were to return on NBC. Like Peacock could still be the first place that it airs, but it could still air on NBC network later in the day, because in Canada, on one of their networks, they still air Days of Our Lives on television. So and at his basically at his old time slot at 1 p.m. So they air it later during the day over there. So they could it's essentially do the same thing over here. Only it could still air on Peacock the same way, but they can just air it on NBC. Just for as a second run airing. So that could help fill time slots. Yeah, and they do have that option. I mean, it is something they could potentially consider.
It's not. Yeah, I wouldn't sit there. Where Lashanta says, "I bet it's not right." Everyone teaming up on Phyllis with Victor, lowdown as the only had Jack kidnapped. Yeah, I mean Phyllis is obnoxious, but I do see what you're saying. So okay, so essentially what you're saying is that it's easier for them to put back on Days of Our Lives
Yes,
than
because it would be because they pretty much more or less like practically own the show, like, well, not fully because but it's still pretty much on their roster, and they could air it like nationally on their network like they used to, but it wouldn't have to change like the way it's aired on Peacock right now.
yeah, I mean that would make sense. It would make any sense for them to take it off Peacock or anything like that. And
Yeah.
so yeah, and I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I guess in all reality, it doesn't really affect me.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
doesn't affect me in a sense like
If they did it that way, like it wouldn't like affect anyone else who already watches it on Peacock that way. It would just be more convenient for those who don't have access to Peacock.
but I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like it would kind of bring the numbers down on their website. Because like a lot of people did sit there and subscribe to Peacock because of Days of Our Lives. So having it back on television, it would kind of be like, why am I paying for Peacock and I
Well,
could just watch it for free?
a lot of people have Peacock for other stuff, so there's other stuff to Peacock to keep Peacock going. You know, you
I
have
mean, I get that, but you do realize that it would, and yes, that's true. But a lot of people did get um Peacock 4 Days of Our Lives.
well,
So it's not
well, well,
like it wouldn't go down.
think of it this way. YNR is pretty much still the strongest rated soap, and it's airing on both CBS and Paramount Plus. So I don't so I don't think it would be too hurtful for Days.
You sure? Because I
Yeah,
feel like it would.
I think so because what they have now, like Days have gotten better numbers than whatever they have on now. So I don't think it would essentially like bring it down. I think if anything it would like draw more people in. I think it would would actually be more of the opposite. So
Are you
that's
saying
the
that
way I
because
see it.
you're more? Are you saying that more because you want to sit there and think on a positive? Or are you saying that because like you really believe? Because I don't.
I think so. I think if the other soaps can survive, and look, we have another we just have a new soap like right now on CBS. We have Beyond the Gate. So yeah. So if they could do that, I don't see that. I don't see that this being too much of a casualty. So
You don't think
like I
it'll be
said,
a casualty towards? Yeah, you don't think
yeah.
it'll be a casualty towards Peacock? Because like Danny says, a lot of Peacock did say that they contribute a lot of new subscribers to Days. We got Days. People got Peacock for Days.
But think of it this way, like Peacock, like I said, even if it were on NBC, you still have the option to watch it early on Peacock. So instead of waiting for it to air on NBC, you can just watch it early on Peacock before you have to go to work or so. And I think people would still like keep it for that convenience.
Okay, I mean, I disagree, but I see your point.
Yeah,
I see your point.
yeah,
Okay, all right, well that makes sense. The other stuff, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah.
Um, okay.
All right.
Anything else you want to add before you head back to
Um,
the?
I think well, I think I covered everything. Um, like, yeah, 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 I pretty much watched all most of the soaps today. I think the only one I didn't see today was Beyond the Gates. So, um,
Okay.
did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched all of it.
Is it
I mean, I watched all of them. So yeah, we'll talk about Beyond the Gates.
okay? Yeah. So yeah, that's yeah, I guess that's what I yeah, pretty much everything I wanted to cover. So yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm not saying like days going back to NBC is a guarantee. I'm just saying it's a possibility that they could end up looking into, and we probably shouldn't be surprised if they end up doing that. But it wouldn't have to change how it airs on Peacock. So I don't think anybody who relies on watching it early on Peacock wouldn't have to worry too much if it comes to that. So yeah, that's
Okay. Well,
basically it.
thank you. Yeah, thank you for explaining that. I appreciate it.
All right, no
No,
problem.
no.
All right,
All right.
all right. I'll head back to the chat.
All right.
All right.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Just going back to the whole Phyllis thing. Like, it's Phyllis is annoying. She's obnoxious. But like Victor has been bullying people, taking over companies and stuff like that for years. So like, I don't feel bad for Victor. I don't feel bad for Victor. Dude's out there, and to be fair, he only kidnapped one person. Also, I'm not gonna lie, those scenes with Kane and like today of him constantly saying, "I love you, Lily, I love you," and I'm just like, it was so obnoxious to hear. And it's even worse because we know that Lily is in on this whole thing. So like, Lily is a fucking scumbag. I am so not looking forward to Lily being back on the show. I'm I'm just not. If they moved back to NBC, I think NBC would want to air on TV first to get those numbers before putting it on Peacock, and that's true. I just listen. I Jonathan's my guy, but I think it's hella like optimistic to sit there and think that people would still keep um Peacock just that way they can sit there and watch it early. Like I don't think that people would be paying $7 or $8 more to watch it early. Um, and that's with the commercials. That's with the commercials. That's not including the commercial free plan. So I think that Peacock would definitely take a fucking hit. Um, no, I really do. I'm like, yo, I could just DVR that shit. Now I will sit there and say like, you know, it coming back. Kane needs to find out that Lily is in on it with Victor. Yeah, because then he's going to go ballistic, and then of course, you know, Lily's going to sit there and try to justify her actions, which you know she was already acting like a damn hyena before she left with her back and forth bullshit, her constantly getting up in Kane's face, or her constantly being jealous of of Phyllis coming on to Kane. You know, for somebody who sits there and says, "Oh, I don't like him. I don't want anything to do with him. You messed up me and Charlie, Maddie, and the kids, and this, that, and the third." You constantly got jealous every time you saw Phyllis up there kissing him. Yeah, and you know, and that's the thing, Jonathan. Like Jonathan, I here's the thing. I get the pros of watching it on Peacock, but I don't. I guess my whole thing is like I feel like the average person, like let me put it this way, if you don't have to sit there and pay for something and you get to watch it for free, even if you have to deal with a little bit more inconvenience and stuff, then you're going to do it. You're going to do it. That's just the truth of the matter. The average person is not going to sit there and be like you're paying for Peacockers right now because you have to. You know, it's either that or you don't watch it. But it wouldn't wouldn't that create an issue Peacock is preemptive proofreading? It would. It would. My whole thing is like, I know how cheap people can be. And even if they got to deal with, with inconveniences like interruptions and watching it later, um, they're still going to do that overpaying the price of $7 some. You know, I don't think that people are that invested. You know, I don't see that. Like from a money from how people are. Yeah, ultimately, for me, it's better to watch it on Peacock. But like price line wise, yeah, I can see that being like that. People gonna probably want to unsubscribe it. I'm just keeping it real. With regards to all the pros, people are gonna be people. Or people can keep it in the evening, an event of news interruption, so they can immediately switch to the app. You really think that people are that like? Okay, I would do that because it's what I do, and it's like kind of what I'm invested in. I just don't think the average person will invest like that. Like, is it a good thing to do? Yes, but is it something that I can see the average person doing? I mean, you gotta sit there and remember there are people that will skip episodes and be like, oh, you know what, whatever. In their eyes, they're just like, well, I guess it just wasn't meant to be. You know, all the pros that you're talking about, I don't see you know, maybe like the super fans, people that want to sit there and still watch it and all the benefits that they could have. Yeah, but like, I never felt like a lot of people who watch Days were super fans like that. You know, what about things like the Olympics? I remember when the Olympics came around, Days was on the whole time. Sports are a huge business. It would create inconsistencies. Yeah. And granted, yes, yeah, you could sit there and be like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna sit there and watch it on Peacock. Or people would just be like, okay, cool, I'm just gonna sit there and take a break and skipping can become a habit. And that's the thing. And I'm not trying. The thing is, I'm not simply trying to like be Mr. Negative or shut down your ideas because I don't think that they're bad. I know how the average person is. Um, because yeah, you can have a lot of benefits sitting there having Peacock, but I don't think that people are always going to sit there and see it that way. Especially in this economy, I mean, skipping has been a habit. And that's been on like fucking GH and stuff. That's been on even GH, which I feel like is probably the most popular of them. People will sit there and skip. They'll read synopsis and stuff like that. But then okay, but then again, you'll get the backlash. The goodwill you gain by putting it back on TV, you lose instantly because they can't watch or they just decide not to watch. Yeah, I saw the previews. If days can't afford to be gone for 2 weeks. They already filmed 6 to 8 months ahead of time. Yeah. Um. But yeah, Jonathan, I saw the previews. Looks like somebody's gonna get shot. JJ, no, Sean is gonna get shot. Um. EJ looked like he's getting arrested. Yeah, EJ looked like he's getting arrested. I am particularly looking forward to people apologizing to Jeremy and Julie. And Ari's had enough of Holly and or her attitude. I've seen I've seen posts of people saying they got back in the days because they went on Peacock. They worked during the days and overtime. Stop watching it. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's just like I said, I look at all the pros about having Peacock, and but then I sit there and I look at the average person um, that may not see that or take advantage of that and just be like, no, I got so many other apps, I got so many other streaming services. I have one less one. I don't know. I don't know. I no, I have no idea. I wish I could sit there and have an answer for that. I don't have. Yeah, I think my whole thing is funny. Before you came in, I think at this point, like I was just so I was sitting there saying I was like I'm just so tired of Sophia and this vendetta, this old ass vendetta that I felt like she's been having for about like nearly 2 years or a year and a half. Because it's so tired at this point. She's coming after Holly because Holly, took her man or screwed her over. And it's like, I understand the anger, but that was like damn near a year ago. It's like at this point, I feel like I'm just getting dragged through watching this Sophia stuff, right? It's just been too long. I'm like, girl, come on, seriously? I understand you being like mad and upset or whatever, but like this was a long time ago. You doing too much, and I think that's my issue with that. Um, Now I will sit there and say that I thought that they were going. Yeah, it's so old. It's like, girl, this just happened. Like even if I would have some sort of sympathy, that shit expired like a while ago. Um, I will sit there and say that I thought they were going to get a different actor to play Javi. Francis is me actually end up with one less streaming service because of Paramount acquires Warner Brothers. Goes through HBO Max will shut down all of its content will be moved to Paramount Plus. Yeah, be kind of good. I mean, I don't know. Like I love HBO Max, but I watch it so infrequently. You know, like right now I have Amazon Prime because I want to watch Invincible and The Boys and stuff and Gen V. So And then when I'm done with that, I'll go back to Netflix. So it's been so bad. It's like every time that she's on, I start to roll my eyes. Like I don't think I have a positive thing to sit there and say about Sophia's story on days. Because even the actor here isn't great. Like, listen, I would rather watch scenes with Theo and Gabby at this point. And I don't even generally care about the romance stuff, but like you know, Ron says, "Do you think Lee should tell Sheila how she feels and that she?" It's funny because like I ignored that comment the first time around, but just for shits and giggles, no, because I'm not here for a Lee and Sheila romance story. That doesn't really feel like that's something that I would really care to watch. Exactly, Jonathan. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's getting more stupid and more aggravating. Like now she's blackmailing Melinda. I'm like, this is so. I'm like the one person that was on your side, and you want to sit there and fuck over because you're that much of a piece of shit. You know? Yeah, it could be more tolerable. I mean, I would still be annoyed, but yeah. So and that's something else that took me out. Like when she started blackmailing Melinda, I was like, girl, your own fucking mother. We don't even see your own mother to sit there and see you in this place. If you want to sit there and fuck over the only person in this town that actually gives a damn about you, I was like, like certain things like that just kind of just take me out the show, and it's like I'm watching it, but I'm not watching it because I'm enjoying it. I'm watching it because I have a fucking YouTube channel. Like that's the truth of the matter. Like it becomes in a sense almost like a chore. Where it's like, okay, I have something to talk about, so I'll do it. But like, and that's something else that just kind of bothers me a little bit too. When I'm at work and I'm watching the Sophia stuff, like first of all, I'm at work and it's early as fuck. So my mood isn't already great. And it takes a while for the caffeine to kick in. Like even I'm not gonna lie, even Beyond the Gate has been a little bit more entertaining. Even Beyond the Gates has actually been a little bit more entertaining than Days, and that's saying something. That is actually saying something. Um, well, okay, so we didn't talk about this. We gonna talk about this now, and then I'll probably wrap it up. Deanna going in on Vanessa. Here's the thing. I don't like Vanessa. Okay, I find her to be annoying, and I find her to be a stupid dingbat. But with that being said, it was still out of pocket for Deanna to sit there and go off on her in front of all those people. See, the chick already rubbed me the wrong way because she talks like a Gen X or Gen Z character, Gen Z person. Well, like Vanessa, I was like, because here's the thing, she kept saying like she was. Here's the thing, Danny, she can be right, but how you go about it is the issue. How you go about it is the issue. Ron, I'm not. I don't know if I need to sit there and learn how to speak another language, but like yeah, and it's honestly, to tell you the truth, it's a little bit different though, Ron. You can't, you really can't compare Mariah and Tess to Lee and Jill. You just can't. It's not about a gay story. It's about the characters and why that doesn't work for me. But no, Danny, you can be right, but how you go about it is important. Like there is no way in hell, as much as I don't like Vanessa, that you should ever be speaking to your parent like that in front of other people. But this is the thing about Deanna. Deanna, before she got to that point, okay, all right, well, we can agree to disagree on that. I will sit there and say that Vanessa did embarrass Doug. Doug, you know, in all reality, yes, she did, but Doug was also a willing participant though too. Okay, because she could have left at any point in time. He knew what she was doing, and he just sat there and took everything that Vanessa did. But you know, and again, maybe I'm just a little old school, but that's something that you should never be sitting there doing. Is to have your fucking daughter sit there and speak to her mother out there like that. No, that's out of pocket. What Vanessa did was wrong, but there's a fucking hierarchy. Like that's no. like um but you know, Deanna did sit there and say, because she made a little smart comment before, and she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I just have this thing where it's like I just think about something and I just blurt it out." And I'm like, I can tell you right now, little girl, you gonna be getting your ass beat doing that shit. Yeah, we're gonna disagree with that. We're gonna agree to disagree with that. like, I, mm, um, but I respect your opinion. I will say that. And I hate to sit and not to sit there and make a fine point out of it, but like you know, Vanessa doing that to Doug and embarrassing him is you know I'm never gonna yeah I still feel like that's out of pocket. I have to tell you, the truth, Ron, I don't even remember Aaron until you bring him up. Like he is so much of a like non-important character. Um, but yeah, I already knew that she was gonna be out of pocket when she said that. Now Vanessa, you know, was told by Nicole, was told by Joey, hey, listen, your daughter is still grieving. I don't think this is a good time for me to be sitting there meeting your daughter. But Vanessa, because she's a fucking know-it-all, is like, oh well, I know my daughter, right? So now you outside within fucking like eye shot with Vanessa Smith there holding on to Joey and everything like that. You know, like filling him up and like kissing him and stuff like that. I was like, girl, you just you just don't give a shit. He's Ron to me, he's not an interesting character. So it's not like I don't remember him. I don't care enough to really sit there and try to keep him in my mind. But if you like him, Ron, that's cool. I just, you know, he's not a character that I generally care about. That's what I'm saying. So now she got, but now she got embarrassed, right? And she's crying and she's upset. And I'm like, I don't care. I, I, I truly like. This is one of those things. Like, I know I sound like a dick, but I'm like, I do not care about Vanessa's tears because she brung all that shit on herself. Johnson says, "Do you remember Dave's scenes this week with Stefan Grave and Vivian was nowhere to be seen?" Yeah, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that. Um, I didn't understand why he was there trying to sneak in. Like I don't. Part of me is just like, wasn't they supposed to sit there and try to capture him or whatever? Like the whole thing was like, okay, we're ready for him to come in, so we could sit there and like take him or whatever, or take him out of some shit. But then they just let him go. Like I remember watching that in the morning. I was like, what the fuck? I don't get it. But yeah, I just no. So I just like I said, I didn't care about her tears. You know, because everyone sat there and warned her. You know, Vanessa is doing this whole thing where she's trying to change. She's trying. Somebody sat there and said that she's trying to change Joey into Doug, but not like make him like Doug, but make him more presentable. You know, she's doing, and she's going about it in ways where it's like she's doing it because this is what she wants, right? Oh, let's sit there and do a double date. You know damn well that Joey don't want to sit there and do any sort of double dates with your friends. But you keep sitting there pushing and pushing and pushing. So I just, and now she's gone, by the way. You know, she already left. She's gone or whatever. Um, so I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know why, but I just don't really care. I was about to call him Ray for Grayson. You know, maybe is the way that Grayson talks. He's very like monotone, right? At least with Kyle or whatever, or you know, I can't remember his name. The guy who played fucking Eric. At least he actually has more of a personality. It's like every time that Grayson talks, I'm just like, oh, okay. He always keeps that same monotone sort of, you know. Kyle's still another Kai. Oh, Kai. Great. Oh, thank you, Damien. Greg Vaughn. It's like I care more about Kai's character than I do Grayson. And I don't even care that much about Kai's character. And anytime that Ashley's on, she's just annoying. And I don't know why. And I know it sounds kind of bad. Nicole. Oh, Kyle. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. Kyle. Um, Nicole looks good, but the minute that she starts talking, it's okay. Thank you. It's always this lecture. It's always this lecture that you feel like you're just kind of you have to kind of just sit. I don't know why, but she does it. She does it a lot. You get to a point where you're just like, hmm, okay. Maybe that's why they have the Danny character, because as annoying as Danny can be, Danny is more full of life. I feel like there's times um where Tomas could just sit there and be a little bit too much. Like he's constantly sitting there finding ways or finding arguments to sit there and pick with Kat. And I know people don't like Kat, but I'm like, bro, like he had a problem with Kat living with her grandparents because she didn't tell him about it. I'm like, bro, like I feel like sometimes he just like makes up shit to sit there and argue about. I'm like, bro, are you just that boring or something? Like, yes, Ron, I do remember Connie and Everett Lynch. Yeah, they're just constantly sitting there, just like starting arguments. Like, you get to a point where, like, even again, like a couple of days ago, I'm like, or what's your problem now? So I just, I can't. And anytime I see Jacob Smith, they're trying to act like this hardcore, like, you know, trying to speak Ebonics or whatever. I'm just like, bro, this isn't working. You know what he did was just show like a pointless sex scene. I'm like, what are we doing at this point? I just I can't with that show, man. Like I can't. And I didn't even get to like, well, anytime I see Leslie, it's just annoying. Um, yeah, I sat there and watched. I was like, bro, really doing this shit? Like, really? I don't know. I mean, y'all know, like I said, y'all know how I feel about sex scenes in general, but like, this is just fucking stupid. Yeah, sure, Ron. Um, oh, and I did not talk about one last fucking thing on Beyond the Gates. That stupid ass scene with Mona and Lynette. Yeah, I just it does nothing for me, Danny Bear. It doesn't like I have a whole library. I'm good. Um, and I don't know what they're doing with Mona and that guy. Who's that guy? Okay, first of all, who's that guy's name? Randy. Like, what the fuck are they doing with Mona and Randy? Are they trying to hook those two up or something? Like, what are they doing? Because she walked in there, popped him outside the head. I was like, what are you doing? And then she was all like, oh, you're being nasty. She sat there and acted like they were on the table just like banging like there was no tomorrow. I'm like, girl, and then she's like, oh, you need Jesus. I'm like, why are you coming across as like this stereotypical Bible Bible thumping judgmental person? Like, why are we doing this for? Like, it was so unnecessary. Johnson says, "Do you think Brooklyn and Chase will end up adopting that baby?" I don't see why. I, I feel like everyone's guessing that they will. Hopefully, they'll switch it around because, like, from what is coming across as, um, they're trying to foreshadow that. A lot of people have been sitting there saying that, like, we knew that the woman was gonna die. The way that Brooklyn is getting too attached to that child, it seems like that's the direction that they want to go in, or at least that's the direction that they want us to think that they are going to go in. The odds are in the favor of that sentence, if that makes sense. Because how they're working. But yeah, I didn't understand. Like, I was like, girl, all they did was holding hands or whatever. Like, you acting like they was there like French kissing or something. I was like, girl, relax. Or maybe you need to go out and sit there and get some, and you won't be so damn uptight. Um, Run. I like the actor. I wouldn't sit there and say I miss Everett Lynch, but like I think that they screwed up his story. You know, I wouldn't sit there and say I miss him, no, but I think he was a casualty of bad writing. These have a tendency of screwing up people's stories. When they come in, I will sit there and say that much. I mean, I guess in a sense, it will be fair play. I mean, yeah, it would definitely be out of pocket, like mind your damn business, but you know. Also, she doesn't even sit there and know that for sure. She doesn't even know that for sure. She didn't even sit there and take the test. So if it comes out false, then she's gonna look like an idiot. That's the thing. Yeah, they screwed him over twice. Um, I'm sitting there thinking about the long list of people that they brung on the show, like him, like Doug the Third, like Talia, like Joy at one point. You know what I'm saying? Like they're bringing a character, they're bringing a new character, and not that they're saying they've screwed over every character because like Tate, Holly, and Ari, they're good characters, but there's been a list of people that they have. And then there's the actor, like the actor that plays Stefan. So they got a lot of shaky ground. I'll sit there and say, got a lot of shaky ground. All right. As much as I would love to sit there and continue somewhat, Whitney was more of a villain. She was a short time villain, so I can't. They brought Jeremy back just for him to be a red herring for Stephanie's kidnapping. They're not Charlie. I don't know why, but I don't even remember Charlie. I don't remember. Okay, I'm gonna have to look up this person. Um, they screwed over a lot of people with their stories. Even who's the other chick? The lawyer that was sitting there paying all of Eric's bills. Um, what was that chick's name? She was bad too. Oh yes, Charlie Dale. Okay, yes. Um, what was that chick's name? Sloan. Thank you, man. Sloan. Sloan was a character that came in with fire, and then they made her desperate as hell. And eventually they were like, you know what? Listen, you can just leave town. And that's what she did. Yep, Sloan Desperado Pearson. Yeah, like they screwed her character over. She came in with fire. And by the time they were done with her, they yeah. So I totally forgot about Sloan. Well, exactly, Danny. Chick was a badass lawyer. She was good looking. She was smart. She had five, and she's sitting there trying to. Um, anyway, I do want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. There's a lot of technical. Yeah, exactly. And I did say Talia. Yeah. I did have some technical difficulties earlier. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but I do want to thank everyone for joining. Members, I will sit there and see you tomorrow. If you're not a member, make sure you join. Everybody else, I'll sit there and see y'all on Wednesday. Um, this was fun as always. So thank you everyone for coming through. Probably was bad. I mean, like, I can get a whole nother rant about Talia in general because oof, that was a fucking terrible story. Yes, have a good night, Ron. Have a good night, Blackmon. Have a good night, Danny Bear. Have a good night, my gorgeous queen cat lady. Subscribe to Cat Lady if you're not subscribed to Cat Lady. Subscribe to Danny Bear. Or Miss Soap says, have a night, CK. Have a night, Tracy Steves. Yeah, and at some point, somebody's going to get a timeout. And I don't want to hear a goddamn thing. Johnson says, join us for another edition of Soul Chat with Albert Bostic. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate you. Have a night, Dolomedics. Again, shout out to Sean. It is Sean's birthday. He also says, good night, everyone. Hit the like button. Just hit that like button because it really does help. It keeps me in the algorithm, and that definitely helps. So, like, seriously, it does. Yeah. Have a good night, everyone, and I'll sit down and see you on the next stream. Laters.